I removed the interior door trim to get the right measurements for the new door and to have a better understanding of how much space I have between the door and the frame. For that, I used a putty knife and a wrecking bar to get into those tight corners. The putty knife preserves the drywall from getting ruined by the wrecking bar. I removed the exterior door trim as well. The new door on the left comes with the trim already mounted to it. The only thing holding this door in place are screws from the left and right. I cut those to remove the old door. If you do it on your own, be careful from the screws or nails on the bottom. When you cut them, it's possible that the cut will touch the hardwood floor like I did, and I damaged it. Also, once I saw a screw or nail from this side and I was not able to cut it, I went from the inside and it was much easier to cut it. It's probably related to the blade that I'm using. It needs to be replaced, but it worked from the other side without replacing the blade. Missed one screw. Some screws had to be removed this way. I've checked if the frame is level before inserting the new door. The distance from the bottom to the top is 210. The door, the distance from the bottom to the top is 207.5. So I have 2 centimeters to play with. I'm planning to build a deck here, and I already have 2 centimeters difference here in height when I'm leveling it. The distance between here and the top is 1.5 centimeters, and the distance from the bottom here till the top is 3 centimeters minus the 1.5 we measured earlier equals to 1.5. So I need to add some kind of razor here, which is equivalent to 1.5 centimeters in height. Let's do it. I'm placing the board and seeing that it's not even, it's not level. I'll use the highest point as my guide, and it will be 1.5 because I want to raise everything by 1.5 centimeters. So I'm marking 1.5. Now that I have my mark, I'm taking this tool and marking it from the bottom to the line. Okay, this is my line. I'm leveling everything. Holding it leveled and starting from the beginning till the end. Using the tool, holding the tool at the same position all the time. Making sure that everything is leveled. Okay, now I have my line and I'll cut it. I see that it's not perfect. I'll mark where it's not perfect and sand it. Yep, this is much better. I'm going to do another one, exactly the same one. Don't nail them in a straight line. If you do it on your own, it might crack it. So do a little bit up, a little bit down. As you can see, I didn't go beyond the door frame. I stopped at the insulation wall, and that was a mistake I'll fix later in this video. Since the door itself has a bottom step which extends beyond the existing point and must have a base beneath it, while with the current approach it will have nothing underneath, and in time the constant stepping weight on it will break it. You will see what I'm talking about later if that wasn't clear. There are 2 screws on the top of this door. If you don't know it, then I guess you don't know it. Okay, now to cock it. Cock it. Unfortunately, the existing frame is too big for this one. Here maybe it will fit. Here there's no way it will fit. So I'm going to remove the frame. So if you're installing a door on your own, this can happen. And much worse things can happen. The bottom can be rotten. Just make sure you know replacing a door, it's not as easy as it seems. Now that the frame is out of the way, I'll keep pushing it forward. Okay, this side is done. And one more tiny thing. It's still possible to get it out once it's inside, but let's do it right now. Now I'm checking that the threshold is leveled. Now it's leveled. I added 2 shims here, I'll cut them later. This is the top left corner. It's leveled. I'll put some shims from the inside and drive a screw through. If you do it on your own or you're a homeowner, the door should be exactly in the middle between the frame. But in my case, I had a problem with this corner, so I just left it as is. This is why you'll see me putting more shims into this side than to this side. I place the shims above the hinges and check that everything is level constantly. Before driving the screws, I pre-drill and countersink to avoid wood splitting and cracking, then driving the screws directly through the shims. Now for the 2 screws that were on the top part of the door, it has a Phillips head, so make sure you know what head to use. If you remember and were paying attention to what's going on in this video, then the first mistake I've made was not extending the bottom plate far enough. The second mistake was using the screws this door came with. Ironically. They are too short in length and cause the door to look like it's unleveled, which forced me to sand and fix part of the door I shouldn't have to. You will see my struggle and fix for both of these mistakes later in this video. If you're doing it for the first time, then you might need this head, and you might need the countersink and the drill, the drill bit, and you might need a drill itself and many other things. So if this is your first project, start at like 5:30 a.m. I removed the top and the middle screw. You can see how tiny they are compared to the new one. I'll drive the first one and then the second one. Again, I eventually changed those screws as they were too short in length and weren't able to hold the weight of the door. I'm checking that everything is leveled on both sides every time. And then putting some shims and driving a screw through it again and again. Same procedure. Now for this side. The top has a gap. I'll try putting shims and see if it fixes the problem. The bottom doesn't have this gap. Driving a screw partially in. Now I'll use a shim above it. Now the door doesn't close, so I'll remove one shim out of the 3. You see? It doesn't close. It hits this spot. So I'm going to remove one shim. Let's see. No. So I'm going to remove another shim. Better. I still have the gap at the top. I didn't solve it. While the bottom plate fit perfectly, the upper one requires some cutting. Has up and down. So up is up. Here I'll probably need to drill. I don't want to do it, but probably I'll have to. This goes from the outside. And this goes from the inside. Of course it will not close right now. Of course. Because I need to drill. Oh fuck, I hate it. I chipped the wood here, so nothing here is easy. I chipped it here, and I mean it's fixable with putty and wood, but nothing is simple. It's not buy a door, install it, and that's it. And this lock, if you do it on your own, it can be bigger or smaller, depends on your door. The level of stress involved in not having an entry door, along with not having the right tool to get the job done, is insane, especially when time runs against you. Hopefully this video presents many things that can go wrong, along with solutions for you to have a better understanding and a higher level of confidence in doing so. Just remember that it's not as simple as it seems, and I urge you to have some kind of backup plan if things go wrong. The cap. I have an extension, but this way works, so I don't really care. I'm scratching the handle though. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe that's so. Okay, I can open and close it, but it's really hard. I started installing the trim and I see that there is a gap between the door and the trim and on the bottom. That's another problem I faced, and you'll see the fix for it soon enough. I thought the problem is that I didn't push the door inside enough, but as you can see it reached to its limit. There is no way for me to push it further into the house. I still suffer from a gap at the top. I decided to remove the nail, clamp everything so it will be closer, and drive a new screw in. Yep, this is better. This is better, but I still have a problem with the door. This is the closed position, but as soon as I open the door, it moves just a little bit, as if everything is under pressure. I see that the pressure is coming from the bottom, and there are screws here that can be adjusted to lower the thing or raise it up. I already lowered it to its maximum, and I wish I had more. So something is not straight and plumb. It's not bad, but not perfect. This is caused due to the screws at the upper left corner, the ones this door came with and I showed you earlier. Those little things came with the door. Now back to fixing the trim. Unfinished red oak. .16 gauge, 1 3/4. I cut this little piece for the lock. Overall, it looks okay, but I can do better. Why is that? For example, here, since I raised the door a little bit, I got this gap here, and I just pushed a little piece of wood in there, and it can work, but I just don't like it. Plus, I have space here, which I don't like. This is exactly the height. I'm going to redo everything. Also here, I could have shaved or cut so it will just fit exactly on the edge. Instead, here it starts on the edge, but at the hinges I didn't do any cuts around them, which resulted in this gap here. So I can do better. That's another reason why I'm changing the design is probably expanded and now it's touching the hinges. I'll remove it and do it correctly. Let's check it out now. I remove the piece, and before removing, I mark the locations of the hinges so it will be easier for me to cut it. I didn't expect that the piece will come off easily, but it did. Otherwise, I would have just replaced the entire thing with a new board. Let's see. So that was the problem. Now I'm going to cut around the hinges and leave gap for expansion and compression. Good luck! I did some cuts with my jigsaw around the hinges. I added a little curve on the bottom to match the trim on the floor. I'll dry fit it, and if everything is fine, gonna nail it. Perfect. The devil is in the details. Here I'm going to add some wood putty so it wouldn't be visible. I'm just showing you and sharing the process. I left a little bit of a gap for expansion and contraction. Here the wood, here it's splitted, but I'm gonna fix it. I'll install the trim, doorbell and outlet, so if you came only for the door, please skip forward. I turned the electricity off to the doorbell and to the socket. This way I will not die. Now I will continue breaking stuff. The new frame doesn't fit. I need to cut a small piece out of it. With this I'm marking how much to cut, because it's exactly the same piece. I'm leaving some room for expansion. This one is 1 centimeter longer than the other one, so if you do it on your own, don't cut everything. Measure each and every side first. In case you're wondering, many pieces of the siding were cracked, and since I'm already here, decided to replace them. It took me some time to figure it out, but I aligned those two pieces and then with a lot of force push this side towards the inside, and this is how it works. Okay, let's test it. It's not working because the test is on. I'm resetting it and now it's working. If those two lights are on, it's fine. Everything is written here. Done. Now to the doorbell. After using it for a few months, I can say that I really like it. It's not perfect. Sometimes the software thinks that a moving tree is a face, and in other occasions the motion detector doesn't work. But it doesn't have monthly subscription fee, and at night it has a red light around it as if it records 24/7, mostly for intimidation. My bottom line is that I still prefer it over the existing competitors. So, in the instructions, this thing is called a terminal, apparently. On the back of it, it has place for 2 screws. There are 2 tiny screws that come with it. So I'll just put those 2 screws in. Then tighten it a little bit, connect the two wires to it from the back. I'm making a loop at the end of each, just a small loop. Now I can connect the camera. Doesn't matter which wire goes where. So to restart everything, it comes with this tool. I'll push it on the bottom. Now it's in place. And after multiple attempts, I didn't think about this problem in the beginning. I should have extended the board till here, because if someone heavy or something heavy will step in the middle or somewhere here, eventually this piece will crack. Now I need to fix it. If I'll put this one, it's fine. I don't know if it's fine, but there is a gap. So I'll use another piece of board, cut it with an angle, so the thick piece will be here and the thin piece will be here. To do it, I'm putting my new piece here, the previous piece right next to it. If you're watching this video, hopefully you didn't skip too much. If you did, then you will face the same problem. I'm putting it at the very beginning and marking. This will be my initial height, and slowly it will come to this point. I need to cut the top part and eliminate this part. Please don't do it like that. This is very dangerous. There's a special tool to cut wood in an angle on a table saw. I didn't have it back then. I don't want to waste my time. One. After many attempts, ended up in using 2 pieces or even 3. Wish I had that tapering jig back then. Now that the bottom plate issue is fixed, I'll fix the damage I caused earlier around the locking mechanism. I'm marking where to cut. So probably here. So it will be square and here. I'm marking what I want to cut. I will change it again, now it will be easier. I have the dimensions, the width and the holes. Everything should be faster and easier. And the technique with the nails is working perfectly fine. So don't use a nailer if you do it on your own. I use glue, then pre-drill and driving the nail by hand to avoid wood splitting. In my first attempt I used a nailer which split the wood and had me redo the entire thing. I'm trying to figure out why this top left corner has so much resistance. Deciding to sand it, which solves the resistance on the top left corner but not at the bottom right one, when looking on the door from the inside. The real issue causing this problem are the screws this door came with. They're not long enough in my case. Every case may differ. Then second layer, and maybe I don't see the point here because everything is very tight and nice, but you can add wood putty or wood filler into the gaps. For me, I think it's fine like that. And finally a touch of polyurethane. I asked my friend Bill to help me with the polyurethane finish, so it will match the refinished floors he recently did for me. And regarding the screw holes, Bill helped me in covering them with several coats of exterior wood filler and finally mixing and matching the color to the existing frame. Thanks to his 25 years of experience, patience and expertise, it resulted in a perfectly seamless finish. Time taken. For me to test the entire install, see what and why squeaks and moves, solve the true reason behind the sagging door, it took around 3 months. But avoiding all the mistakes should not take more than 1 day to have a solid and operational door installed, and 5 more days for the final touch-ups. The keyword here is should. Price for the materials around $800, price for materials and tools around $2,500. Thanks for watching.